The U.S. Navy is down 2 guided missile destroyers capable of shooting down North Korean ballistic missiles since 2 recent collisions in the Pacific starting in June. Pete, Abby, Joe.
Lucas Tomlinson, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we've got a lot of other news we're following this morning, so I want to bring you some headlines quickly. Russia is now accusing the U.S. of violating international law after FBI agents raid several diplomatic posts in U.S. cities. This coming just hours after those Russian consulates were ordered closed in New York, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco by the Trump administration. Moscow has threatened a, quote, strong response to those raids, which was retaliation for Russia expelling hundreds of American diplomats after those U.S. sanctions. Also this, while Texas recovers from historic flooding, Los Angeles is now dealing with its largest ever wildfire. Take a look at that. More than 700 homes now evacuated as the brush fire burns more than 5,000 acres in the northern part of that city. Hundreds of firefighters are also dealing with triple-digit temperatures. Still not clear, though, how the fire started in the first place, though. So far, luckily, no one has been hurt. And the last cruise ship held at sea by Hurricane Harvey finally docking in Galveston, Texas. The storm leaving more than 3,000 passengers stranded on the Carnival Breeze cruise ship for an entire week. This is the 4th and last ship to dock since Hurricane Harvey first hit, stranding more than 20,000 vacationers. Unbelievable. You see the size of that ship and how many people have been sitting on there for a week.
Absolutely. Well, as the media moves on, but we know the floodwaters are still rising in some places, receding in others. The recovery turns into repair in so many different homes. We're keeping our eye on what's going down in the area of Houston. And one of the folks that's been in the middle of it and involved in some of the efforts to help out others is former Navy SEAL and lone survivor Marcus Luttrell. Marcus, good morning. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Good to see y'all.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah, how's your house? How's your neighborhood?
We were closed down and we were devastated. We're still here, brother.
How's your house and neighborhood, Marcus?
We're good. I actually live on a ranch, and I mean, we had water just coming through the walls, and then the bridge was washed out, so we kind of got locked in through the first 4 or 5 days. And our neighbor actually came over and heard that we had a lot of children in here, and they were shoveling baby formula through by way of boat and whatnot. And then our neighbor came in, actually rebuilt our bridge, so we got out and started migrating into the city. I was lucky. We had a bunch of our teammates here, Pete, and it kind of held the line while this thing was going down. But it was a good one, man. It was a good one. They put a whooping on Harvey, dude, bro.
That's where I'd want to be, Pete. If
I would too.
If a hurricane came my way, I want to be with Marcus Luttrell and all of his men.
Well, Marcus, if you would, on a larger level, tell us, I mean, you and other SEALs have seen much worse and know how to deal with things like this. But Texas in general, I mean, the country's been watching how Texas reacts. And what does it remind you about the Texas spirit?
Man, I tell you what, Pete, I've been thinking a lot about this. We were out in the city yesterday, driving around in some of the neighborhoods. And imagine your house, just driving into a neighborhood, and every house, like it exploded everything out the front door. And that's kind of what it looks like. And one of our buddies, he was sitting in the back as we were pulling out of the neighborhood, and he was like, "Hey, Marcus, man," he's like, "You recognize that stair?" And Pete, I ain't kidding, man. And this was the thing that bothered me the most, right? So when we were coming around this cul-de-sac, there was some women that had brought some lawn furniture. And it's Saturday, the sun's out, and they were kind of in their little school circle, and they were just talking as if life was just going on. But they had that 1,000-yard stare, man. And it's almost as if they're kind of being hunted down there, because the water will disappear and then it'll come back at night. Wow. And in SEAL training, that's the one thing that separates us from the other special forces, is what they do to us in the water, and what the water actually does to us. So what all us Texans and those women that I saw, man, they were in a war, all right? And they had the stare, bro, man, but they made it through it. And just that Texas spirit that drove me and kept me going day to day, and all that crap that we went through over there, man, is coming out in all of our citizens, and it's drawing them closer. And it's pretty amazing to watch that go down on top of the fact that, man, our women, man, you know how I am about that, man. I don't like it when that's going down. And just the fact that they had that look on their face, man, it tore me apart. And we're doing all we can, and everybody's doing all they can to keep this going. And it's pretty amazing, because we went down deep in the city one day, and they're like, "Hey, we got everything we need. You guys just push back." So it's really come back to that whole self-aid, neighbor aid, town aid, then city aid kind of deal. And
Marcus,
it's pretty amazing.
speaking of that spirit, you got to tell us about what your wife is doing, because she is probably a perfect example of that. She was concerned about baby formula and women getting access to that formula, and she used Instagram to send out sort of alert. And in response, you can see the photo here, people sending in their photos of they sent this to your wife, of formula. Talk to us about what she's doing and why that's so important.
I can talk about my wife for years. I mean, it's this is the greatest thing. Pete, check this out. I lost my phone 2 days before the hurricane blew in. That's the reason. Normally, I talk to y'all every morning while y'all are on the show, just kind of joking around. But it went down, and she kind of stepped up. And my brother has a newborn. 2 of my buddies have newborns, twins. So they were all here. And when the bridge washed out, the one thing we didn't have is baby formula. Because let me tell you something, kids eat a lot. And
That's for sure.
she's got to put the word out. And it was amazing. I mean, she just, she is command and control, right? She is one strong woman. I'm blessed to be married to her. And then as soon as we got our bridge fixed, she was gone, man. She took the truck and she rolled out, and I know that she completely evacuated a Target of cleaning supplies and everything, and has been transporting them down to Houston, and then doing food drives and clothing drives, and just not stopping, bro. She's not slowing down, man. She's wearing me out.
That is amazing.
It's yeah, she's taking point on that and doing as much as we can with what we got. I mean, it's pretty bad down here, and it's still going on. That's the biggest thing, because every night the water keeps rising in multiple places. And people aren't expecting it. There's people living in places in Texas, man, that never even seen water in their area. Mm-hmm. So it's getting that ebb and flow. And I know I heard the president came back down to visit, man, and that makes everybody stand up at attention and keep pushing forward too. Yeah. It's
well, we appreciate
a tragedy when it's not going down in your spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of That's an American thing, right? You can push through that, but
we're all thinking about you and everyone there in Texas. Thank you for all the work that you and your wife and your family have been doing. Where our thoughts and prayers will continue to be with you as you move forward.
All right. Thanks,
Marcus. Appreciate it. Take care.
President Trump declaring